All right. This here is the Ramblin' Hillbilly. How are y'all today? This is actually take 2. I got started and FedEx came to the door. Like, oh, shit. Maybe that's telling me something. Maybe I shouldn't say anything. Wow. But I don't give a rat's ass. Go say it anyway. Imagine that. Today's episode is brought to you by Beetlejuice, the musical. Which I saw the other night with Brother Billy. It was good. I enjoyed it. It was funny as shit. It's not for children, okay? Not for children. Anyway, I think this is going to be a display glass rather than a drinking glass because this handle, this snake, it's really hard to hold. Anyway, and I scored this sweet tie-dye. The tour. Beetlejuice. Anyway. Yeah, that cup's not doing so good. Did I say how the hell are y'all today? Because since this is part 2, it kind of threw me off. Or not really part 2, but restart. Anyway. Lord, I've had this issue for so long, and I suppose, ouch, I'm going to snap one of these days. All right. Facebook, YouTube, throwing my card out there so I can discuss this any way I fucking want to. Or you're phobic. Anyway. Ladies. Where the hell are you? Hey, you older ladies. Remember you were burning your bras in the 70s and Helen Reddy, I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar. In numbers too big to ignore. Sorry. Got carried away. But now, you're letting biological men take away womanhood. Are you done with this bullshit yet? They're taking your scholarships. They're taking your trophies. Oh, yeah, I'm going to ramble on to something from there. It's not a happy one, neither. But why do you watch me? Because I'm the Rambling Hillbilly. All right. In that same vein, there's this flamer who had an adopted kid. Said that the kid, who was a biological boy, knew he was trans when he was 24 months old, when he chose a tutu to wear. Now, how many of you have not put on mom or dad's clothing or dad's big bulky shoes or your mom's pajamas and nobody grabbed you and said, hey, let's go get you some hormones and a little nip and tuck? That kid didn't make up his mind. His mind was made up for him. But since there's a bazillion examples of that very thing out there, What do you think they had leaves of TikTok? All they were doing was posting stuff that those people had already posted. Right? Go figure. Anyway, the thing that made my blood boil was the selfish motherfucker. He says, when asked by the reporter, the kid is apparently athletic and wants to play sports. But I guess it's 9, and they've been on hormone blockers. So the dad says they're not going to go through male puberty at all, so there'll be no difference. There's still going to be a difference. You can't kill it all. Anyway, when asked about that and this biological boy playing on girls' sports teams, that selfish son's bitch said, my child's mental health is more important than your child's trophy. I don't know, but I kind of bet there are people that have worked hard and practiced all their lives only to get beat out by a biological boy or biological male. Everybody thinks it's so glorious and woke when a trans woman gets an award meant for a woman celebrating women, gets a Woman of the Year award. Dudes, this is not good. Anyway, there's so many examples, but why aren't you fighting for your rights? Especially all you chicks out there who now have coaches or now have people that care about girls' athletics, and you get awards and, scholarship offers if you're good enough and all that kind of stuff. That didn't quite happen very much when I was growing up. Okay, we had one coach that I know of that tried to help their players. Anyway, but nobody cared about girls' stuff. Well, I came back here and went to a basketball game, the girls' basketball game. Or was it a boys' basketball game? I don't remember now. Whatever it was, the gym was packed out, and they were honoring all the little basketball players. 5th grade, 6th grade girls, 7th, 8th grade girls. We didn't have that shit till we were in high school. I mean, basketball was like foreign to me. I mean, if it was nice enough outside here when I was young, I was off throwing a ball against a wall instead of shooting baskets somewhere. So, anyway, all the chicks that broke through and got women's sports recognized and all kinds of stuff like that. Now the very same people that were all for women's rights are now for fake women's rights. They have more rights than you. Right? And I'm getting tired of it. Like, for instance, there was one of the people in the Miss Universe pageant that actually came out and said they knew the fix was in for the tranny from the get-go. It was all planned out. Now, Those girls probably have been doing pageants all their lives. Their moms, probably dads, spent shit tons of money on them ever since they were little and spent a lot of time on this circuit. Okay, you see what I'm saying? Uh, Only to have somebody who's been taking some hormones for a few years, not even transitioned sexually, or I mean, surgically, and comes in and takes the Miss Universe pageant. There were a lot of people in the pageant that were filing complaints. You didn't hear about that much, did you? And they should. Because I swear, 90% of the time, if you've got a transgender person in any kind of a voting contest or judging contest, they are going to be the winner or damn close to it. Look it up. Even recently, kind of in this local area, there was a guy named Homecoming King, voted Homecoming King. But apparently he identifies as a chick, showed up for homecoming all decked out in gowns and shit like that. Okay? Dude, you were voted homecoming king. Have the respect to show up as a homecoming king. Now, you do you. I don't have a problem with whatever you choose to identify as. What I have a problem with is if you were going to show up in the Queen's garb, then you should have run on the Queen's ballot. You see what I'm saying? You took away an award from whatever the gender is, straight white male, probably. No, not there. It was mixed, I think. It's yeah, you do you, kid. You see how frustrated I am? But see, just because of politics and kids are on their phone all the time and what do they hear, what do they see, that particular kid was probably going to win as a boy or a girl, so they win either way. Do you see what I'm saying? And the people that are going against biology, come on. Men cannot have periods. Men cannot give birth. If you've got an XY chromosome, you're not going to have a baby. Ever. You're not going to have cramps. Ever. I'd certainly volunteered that part of growing up and growing old to any dude who really wanted it. Okay? But it's a joke. It's become a joke. And it needs to stop. Women, fight. It's unfair. I don't care. You can identify as long as you want. I don't give a rat's ass. But by God, don't be taking over spots slated for biological women. That's the swimming dude, chick, Leah Thomas, up for Woman of the Year in the NCAA. When you've got Riley Gaines, one of the top swimmers in the country and in the world, who's probably got up and swam laps at 4 a.m. before school since she was 6 years old, gets robbed. Don't you see how unfair this all is? Well, what about the trans that want to play sports? Well, then make up a new fucking league. The government pumps out enough money to fucking colleges that are in nothing but indoctrination centers. Have like a state by state trans league. And then you compete against each other and whatever you want. But it needs to stop. Now, if you really want to know what's happening, actually, it pisses me off, yes, but I understand the game plan. Okay? Do you really think all the socialists and communists that were out doing violence in the name of civil rights back in the 60s and 70s, do you think those people ever went away? No, they did not. They just went underground. So these are the people that have been put in positions of power that are actually totally communist. And I can't remember which one of those bastards said it. Was it Lenin? No. One bird shithead guy. One of those. It's escaping me now, but said, we can take the United States from within without firing a shot. We just get the children. And what's been happening over the decades? They've become more of an indoctrination center, and rather than reading, writing, arithmetic, problem-solving skills, shit like that. That's all planned. It's to disrupt the nuclear family. Because a country full of nuclear families that have pride in their neighborhood and pride in their country, they are an awesome force to be reckoned with. But when you break up the nuclear family, when you have fathers and daughters against, fathers against daughters, against sons, against mothers, against aunts, against their friends, you've got a whole civilization of lost souls. Do you see what I'm saying? This is the plan. It's the playbook. This is exactly what they did in the 60s. A bunch of rich, white, well-educated kids formed the Weather Underground and offshoots of the Weather Underground, and robbed and killed and wanted to overthrow the government of the United States. It's all true. Look it up. The Weatherman Underground. Well, they're using the same tactic again. This time they've hijacked the LGB crowd. Okay? They've added so many categories and colors and shapes and sizes. If you aren't a straight couple and desire some other kind of satisfaction, then you get a letter. And now you belong to the group. Come on. Most of these things are kinks. I don't care what you do. You have your kink. Keep it inside your house. Don't force me to hire you in an important position just because you identify sexually as something other than whatever they call it, cisgender. Stop it. It's all to confuse. Okay? It's the same playbook over and over and over. This time, they've hijacked this movement, and what they're doing is, well, not only are they splitting that community up by all the progressive radical shit? You're causing a problem intergroup, and you've really got a problem on the outside of the group because people are getting sick and tired of having it thrust in their faces. I'm tired of having it thrust in my face. Okay? But something, remember years and years ago when we were all making fun of political correctness? What a joke it was. And I do believe I said a long time ago that it could lead down a slippery slope. Well, here it is. Nobody is hired on merit anymore. I mean, what's that gonna mean? I heard one of the states, I don't know which one it was, is gonna lower the grade, the passing grade on the bar exam because it's not equity. It's not enough POCs are making the cut. So they're changing the standards. Now, yeah, what if you're facing life in prison and been set up or something, and one of those dumb motherfuckers is your attorney, and you end up doing life? It's kind of important that a lawyer knows what he's doing. But what you do is you lower the standards so you can get equity. What you really get is a bunch of shitty lawyers. Now, apply that to airplane pilots. Apply that to doctors, surgeons. Well, we have to lower the passing standards on the medical, the bar or the medical exam, right? So we can get more equity. So what's that going to get you? A bunch of shitty doctors. And whose life do you sort of trust your hands into? The shitty doctor. There's the only reason he passed medical school because he checked off about 3-4 boxes that appropriated him the right to just pass go, do not collect $200 or whatever the fuck. And they're teaching this in medical schools, people. The pharmacy-run medical schools are pushing this agenda. So, I'm just getting tired of it. Free women up. Damn, that makes me mad. A lot of women worked really hard to get to the point where women's athletics is now. I mean, the World Series softball, the College World Series in softball is one of the most watched sports events. Come on. What's going to happen when everybody starts recruiting dudes to play on their softball team? Okay. I'll tell you what, it wouldn't be fair, because what was very interesting, I can tell you the difference between male and female players. It certainly doesn't matter what you look like. Little ramble here for you. I don't know, a bunch of years ago, Columbus held the Gay Softball World Series. And I was a medic. I volunteered my time as a medic. And so when they weren't in their uniforms and stuff, there was this team from Orlando, and they were wearing like 8-inch heels, and they looked amazing. Okay, it was funny as shit. But when it came game time, girlfriend, those heels came off, and those spikes came on, and they could play some hella softball. Okay, now You take those same guys that did look like chicks, put them on a softball team against biological chicks, what's going to happen? Ugh. Or at least play co-ed. Something. Have a co-ed league so it's equal. Holy crap, that's another ramble. I don't know if any of you, those of you who are new, I was a fairly decent softball player in these parts. You know, I've wrecked my body so hard. Diving and catching and throwing and running into fences and walls and this and that. Well, I had never played co-ed softball before. And so I'm in California, a friend puts a team together, and they're really good players, right? Holy moly, I was playing left field, which was my all-time favorite place to play. And there was a line drive over the shortstop's head. And I nearly got killed because the left center fielder, who was a dude, didn't think a girl was going to get to that ball, and he nearly fucking killed me. Because I was going balls to the wall. I was laid out for it. I knew I was going to grab that shit. And he came flying in from nowhere and took me out. Did he catch it? No. Dumbass. So it took him a while to go, oh, okay, that's your territory or whatever. Because I would forget that I didn't want to get killed. Anyway. Just a little funny side story. On this other co-ed team I played on, I played first base a lot. And our third baseman was left-handed. Now, if you've ever played first base, or, anywhere in the infield, it really messes you up when you have a left-handed throwing infielder, okay? It's just real awkward. Let alone one that had a rocket for an arm. I was warming up and I threw him the ball and he fired one at me. Well, first of all, it breaks the opposite way. I about nearly got it in the face. Oh, good times. Now you know why I need all new parts. But anyway, you just see the unfairness in all of this. Oh, I've got another bitch about this letter mafia thing. LGBTQIA. What does I stand for? It stands for intersex. What does that mean? That is a medical condition. If you happen to have like an extra Y chromosome, you could have XYY. Or XXY. Whatever. XXY. That's it. Anyway, it's a medical condition. It's not some kind of thing you can become. Well, I think I'll be intersex today. You can't. All that means is you got an extra chromosome. And it's actually very, very rare. Okay? One of my inmates was such a XXY. Had boobs and a little penis. What they usually try to do in that case is, check to see if the kid's going to be more masculine or feminine and decide on what's going to grow and what's not. You know what I mean? It's complicated. It's biology. But anyway, you see what is happening here. This isn't like gay rights, this rights, lesbian rights, trans rights. None of that shit is happening to anybody, but it just keeps getting pushed and pushed and pushed. And you're forcing it on people's kids, and they don't like it. Kids that young shouldn't be subjected to anything sexual at all. Gay, straight, doesn't matter. Let them be kids. Stop teaching the kids that one race is oppressors and other races are victims. Stop teaching that shit. Everybody is equal. Your side is the one that keeps pushing the shit. What's the world going to be like if the United States doesn't exist? It's already gone to hell in a handbasket in the last 2 years. Everybody's at war. Everybody's making nukes. Everybody's firing missiles. Everybody's threatening people. Everybody's bombing this and that. None of that shit was going on for a few years, right? So all of this stuff is planned. And the reason, like I've said it before, the reason you're seeing it, all the corruption and everything, is because 45 put a 4-year hitch in their get-along, in their 16-year plan. They were for certain they had 8 years of Obama and 8 years of Hillary. For certain. So they have to make up time. Train. You always listen for it. Is it going to stay on the tracks? I can guarantee you they put out new safety warnings because there's trains creep through town now. They're not going very fast at all. Anyway. I got distracted myself with trains. Okay. You always listen for the crash. My brother Billy and I were talking about this. How come you have all these phone videos, all this shit that ever happens? Like, whoever stops at a train and digs their phone out and just takes pictures of a train passing by just for the hell of it? That just cracks me up. Man, I've seen things around here with the cats and stuff that would make hilariously viral videos, but I don't carry my phone with me 24/7. Anyway, I digress. So, ladies, put your big girl panties on and start fighting for your rights before biological men take those away from you. Okay? Because it's happening. So, and look at the big, huge DEI thing the government just came out with. We will support all these businesses that use the diversity, equity, and inclusion policies that we set out, which is ESG, Environmental Social Governance Score, public-private partnerships, total control over everything, people. Think about it. If you don't follow their rules, their environmental rules, their social hiring rules, then you won't get any business. Now, what does this sound like? Are you paying attention to this shit? Are ya? 15-minute cities. Right here in Cleveland, was it the mayor who came out and said, Right here in Cleveland, we want to build a 15-minute city where everything you could ever possibly want is within a 15-minute drive or a 50-minute walk. Public transit all over the place. Well, you can bet your ass once you get into that 15-minute city, that's where your ass is going to stay, because your newly mandated electrical cars will be programmed to only let you go around to places in your 15-minute city. If you try to go outside your 15-minute city or the required or the allowed places to go, your car will shut off. That is, if you have a social governance score on your own merit that's good enough to even have your car start for you. You've done enough good in the community. Now, I would imagine my car would be like totally locked up forever and ever. Do you see how this is coming? The globalists, they want everybody in city centers, because if you've got everyone, the entire population in city centers, you're easier to control. They can say what you can have for furniture. They can say what you can have. You bet your ass any kind of weapons to protect yourself are going to be allowed in those 15-minute cities. And the big defund the police movement to victimize to make the police look horrible and defund the police movement. What's that all about? Well, that seems to be a UN thing. What was I talking about? I had to concentrate too hard on that. Shit. Oh well. Oh yeah, okay. The UN is, if things get so bad here and in other Western countries where they're having all kinds of murders and rapes and stuff, because what have they done? They've overrun Western countries with the Islamic refugees. And they're allowing the Islamic refugees to dictate policy. Whose side are they on? So the big thing is they want shit so bad in all the countries that NATO or the UN is going to say, none of you can police yourselves. Look at this shit. And what they want to do is send in UN peacekeeping forces. Gee, what would that lead to? Now, that's not conspiracy theory. Read those books those motherfuckers put out there. I can't say the name. They are not shy. They know what their plans are. They're telling you. World Economic Forum. Everything. All these rich people get together and decide how the rest of us should live. And they don't care about humanity. They have no soul. So it's not going to hurt them to kill off millions of people via starvation or war. War makes money. They want the population down to 500 million anyway, worldwide. They said it for years and years and years and decades and decades and decades. So, you better wake up and see what's going on. They're destroying the United States from within. We are almost done. That should scare you. When you can't keep criminals who commit violent crimes locked up until their sentencing or their trial. Oh, go ahead. You killed 3 people, but we're going to release you on your own recognizance. Here you go. Show up in court in a couple of months. How many people have been killed and injured now from people who should have been in jail, but because of progressive policies were let out of jail? Anyway, it's all a scam on you, folks. The J6 stuff is coming out. A lot of those videos, I had seen similar ones from people who were there, posting them until they all got taken down, but they had gotten millions of views. So the stuff that Tucker Carlson is showing you isn't really any different than anything that was out there right after that got taken down. Okay? The QAnon shaman, that still corrects me if there's no such thing as QAnon shaman. That was a media moniker. Anyway, you know, the Viking dude got 4 years in prison. Now, watch the surveillance video. I'd seen pieces of that. Watching the cops walk in with him talking all friendly and everything, and then it was like an act when he got up on the podium and then asked the reporters, if you want to start taking pictures, go ahead. And then the cops stop and go, you can't be here. Please leave these chambers. This is a holy site or I don't know what, I don't know, some fucking big word this guy didn't even know the meaning of, I'm sure. It was all a scam. That dude's doing 4 years in prison because guess what? The prosecution would not allow those videos to be shown. And his shitty public attorney had him sign a plea agreement that ended up giving him more time and some other stupid shit. So that he's got another lawyer that after this, he should be released immediately. He was being escorted through the Capitol by officers. He at one point walks through 7 standing officers just standing around. The 2 guys with him are walking through. They don't seem the bit concerned. And you think if he was such a dangerous fucking person that he needed to be shot, like that one guy that said, why didn't any of those 9 cops take him down? He was unarmed. They were all armed. But no, they continued to escort him through the Capitol to different rooms and different places until he got in the Senate chambers. That was all set up. You see the police dropping the barricades, waving people in, and then to stir up the crowd, before they took down the barricades, they fired tear gas into the crowd to get people to basically stampede, I guess. And they did that before anything ever happened. But the key here, as I've always said, it was set up. Sure, they were breaking some windows, but how long would it have taken that crowd to crawl through a couple of broken windows? It had taken them a long time. What you see on the video, and I saw this years ago, is the magnetically sealed doors were shut. They're security doors. Okay? There's no way that group could have gotten through those doors. Okay? Guy standing at the door, looking at the crowd, He looks back, he looks at the crowd, then he walks away from the door, looks up to the direction of the security camera, puts his arms up like, what the hell? Are you going to unlock the door or what? He walks past the door. A second later, the door pops open. This guy opens the door and starts dragging people in. He's wearing an earpiece. That's all the stuff that was censored. I said from the beginning, just show the video. Let people make up their own minds. Oh, you're cherry picking this and that. Bullshit. Who cherry picked what? Holy shit. J6 was worse than fucking 9/11, the Civil War combined. Oh, fucking horseshit. It was set up. No police died that day. Do you understand? One of them, the one they laid in state in the Capitol, his brother or brother-in-law had been talking to him the night of the incident, and he was in his office, happy as could be, whatever, fine, filling out paperwork, and he had a stroke the next day. He did not get beaten in the head with a fucking fire extinguisher. That's bullshit. The other 4 officers who died from suicide after the event at some point. But yet, they still yell, you killed police officers, you did this and you did that. Bullshit. The only person that died that day was Ashley Babbitt. From the gun of a guy who has had several incident reports on handling his firearm. But he was made sergeant at arms or whatever the fuck he was made. He should have never even been there with his record. Look that shit up. But I'm tired of hearing you killed cops that day. No police died at the Capitol that day. It's all bullshit. I want to know who unlocked the doors. And the people you do see committing violence, they are wearing masks. They're masked up and everything, just like Antifa. Prior to the incident video shows Antifa changing from their black garb into like red, white, and blue Trump gear and stuff to head to the Capitol. And you hear toward the end of the video to whoever was taking the picture, the woman goes, hey, delete that. Oops. This was all set up. It's huge. So, be on the lookout because there's a lot of bad shit coming out and they need to change the news cycle, okay? Anyway, all right. Let me get out of here before I keep going on another terror. So, y'all have a good day. This here has been... My stomach always growls. The Rambling Hillbilly. I am out.